All right. The audience is filling up. So then I think we are good to start. So good morning and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Thomas van Beera. I'm the Vice President of Business Development at Apex.AI, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I appreciate you taking the time to join us. Today, we will be discussing options to accelerate your software development. We are targeting high-performance computing systems, which will likely also make use of artificial intelligence. Our focus will be on reusability of our assets and functions across different target systems, and we will also explore how these aspects impact your architecture decisions, your collaboration options, and also testing up to domain-specific safety regulations. Our goal today is to provide you with some valuable insights that you can apply to your own projects, for example, in the agriculture domain, medical domain, robotics, or other industries. I'm also joined today by my colleague Lore Beck from our business team here in Europe, and also later we will welcome Lyle Johnson from our engineering team in Palo Alto. Both will be managing the Q&A session. So if you have any questions already during the presentation, please feel free to submit them also via the Q&A button. You will find it in Zoom at the bottom of your Zoom site. So at the end of the session, we will go through your questions, as many as possible, and we will provide detailed answers. So with that, let's get started. So I would like to begin by giving you a quick overview of our today's agenda. So I will explain briefly our background, and I will then explain also where in the architecture of an high-performance computing system we can make a difference. So this will be detailed also by some use cases from our customers. And at the end of our session, as already mentioned, we will be able to answer all your questions you have had during the session in the Q&A. So please use the Q&A button at the bottom to provide your question during or at the end of the session. So let's start with Apex.AI. So the story or the history of Apex.AI already started 25 years ago here in Germany, where I'm based. And yeah, we have an automotive, but even stronger robotics background. Our founder, Jan Becker, who lives in the US quite long in the meantime, was one of the early birds in autonomous driving. So already in the 90s, he was working on, level 5 vehicles, we would call them today. So aside several stations within industry and academia, he's, for example, still professor for autonomous systems in Stanford. He participated in the first DARPA challenges, and he's even one of the 5 people who defined the SAE autonomy levels back then. Together with our co-founder, Dejan Pankretić, Jan Becker was also part of the Willow Garage project. Many of you might know them, might know this project. This is the birthplace of the robot operating system. And this took already place more than 20 years ago. So still today, one of the biggest open source projects and for robotics enthusiasts applied in many industries. In 2017, Apex.AI was founded. At this time, the idea came up to make also safe robotic systems, so real-time capable, deterministic, and certifiable. And why? Because it needed to be applied also to industries. So this means it had to be scalable across industries and also usable in state-of-the-art development processes. And with this motivation, Apex.AI was founded in 2017. So open up a business based on open source, will that work? I mean, a common misconception is that open source software and source available software are the same thing, but they are not. So let me clarify a bit. Open source software follows licenses like GPL or Apache license. And this allows you to modify, distribute, and use the software freely, often requiring contributions back to community. But source available software, on the other hand, provides transparency by making the source code accessible, but it's not necessarily free. And it's also not necessarily free to modify without a license. So, and this approach ensures commercial viability while still giving customers the benefits of visibility, security auditing, and customization. So we at Apex.AI, we offer source available software, and this under a commercial license. This means our customers, they get access to high quality, safety certified software with the flexibility to inspect and integrate it into their own system. So, and this without obligations of these traditional open source licenses. So this means Apex.AI combines the best of both worlds. So the transparency and reliability on one hand, and the support and assurances enterprises just need. And another common misconception, Apex.OS is not an operating system. It's actually a platform-independent software framework to abstract the operating system details and to provide tooling and communication, for example. It's designed to build systems with real-time and mixed criticality safety capabilities. Everything is developed either at our headquarters in Palo Alto in California, or here in Germany in the Stuttgart region, Stuttgart and Munich region. So what is it? What is it all about? So our portfolio, think of it as a software foundation that enables complex safety critical applications without requiring a specific operating system. So our architecture is supporting different real-time operating systems and different system-on-chip platforms. So this provides flexibility and adaptability also for seamless integration and the required real-time performance, independent from hardware vendors or specific libraries. So we support various POSIX-based real-time operating systems and a range of state-of-the-art HPC systems from different vendors you see here. So, and domain freedom is really the thing for us. Our products are used from tractor to medical equipment. This is possible. So the scheme you see here, we will use also on the following slides. So I will guide you through. So Apex.Ida as one of the building blocks is a high performance data transport across processes, ECUs, and domains. This allows to communicate. On top of that, we have Apex.Grace, our scalable middleware and software development kit for safe and deterministic applications. And on the left side, you see combining services and tools, Apex.Alan, which is an automated CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and test infrastructure, which allows to integrate seamless into also your existing infrastructure, and Apex.OS for verification and validation, which provides capabilities around deterministic record and replay for reproducible validation and deeper safety cases, especially in artificial intelligence. So please keep this picture here in mind. It will help you to guide through the following slides. So let's then start with Apex.Grace. So before we start, most of you will know what is an SDK. So an SDK, or software development kit, just basically provides the necessary tools and libraries for developers and architects to define a platform and different applications. So it abstracts the interfaces and hardware specifics. And an SDK allows the developer to focus on the user-facing functions without worrying about the underlying system, basically. And similar to how an SDK provides essential tools for the developers, Apex.Grace equips teams with all the resources they need to accelerate their development process. So Apex.Grace provides libraries, tools, safety certification options, all in one software development kit, and enables customers to create versatile functions for different reliable end products. So it's quite appealing to developers in open source community, especially in the huge global ROS community, and also since it's based on current programming languages such as C++, 1721, and we also are supporting Rust with an interface. It appeals not only to developers, also to most customers, since it's offering easy scalability. Yeah, since you get a broad pool of available software experts and the integratability to your existing tool chains. For example, when you are using code generators or model-based software engineering environments, they can be used right away. And the best is Apex.Grace is safety certified as safety element out of context according to ISO 26262 ASIL-D. So this is an automotive norm for sure, but this is based on an overarching industry norm, the Machinery Directive IEC 61508. And so this complies a lot with other derivatives. So our customers, for example, in agriculture, who have to fulfill the HEPL safety standards, we have marine customers, they have to fulfill the respective marine norm. That said, or to sum it up, the SDK is providing essential libraries, essential tools to develop your products, and this is ready to get also the safety certification for your specific domain, proven as safety element out of context, usable for your in-context certification. So the next topic was Apex.Ida. We thought about how could we explain a data transport solution, but in the end, a data transport solution acts like a universal travel adapter. So seamless connectivity across different platforms and systems, regardless where you are. And like this, Apex.Ida also is moving not power, but very powerful large amounts of data between multiple systems or multiple applications very efficiently and securely. So it ensures smooth transfers without the risk of loss or corruption. It also handles translation of a variety of communication protocols and bus systems, and ensures seamless data exchange across different systems and also across systems of systems. So Apex.Ida enables basically high performance communication across processes, across ECUs, different hypervisors or operating systems, partition, domains and infrastructure, and therefore ensures seamless data flow also in very complex systems. So here, for example, when you have an ECU containing of several system on chips with several partitions, they communicate inter-process, they communicate inter-ECU, they communicate between ECUs, but also between different systems with infrastructure. And all that is supported out of the box with a very efficient zero copy mechanisms. And so it with this high variety of interfaces, it is very easy configurable for developers. So it excels especially in mixed criticality systems or mixed criticality system of systems, with different safety requirements. And this combined with high throughput, supporting also various real-time operating systems and hypervisors. We have reached really benchmark throughput capabilities in the range of 100 gigabit per second and are absolute benchmark with low latencies, at least according to our customers, but feel free to reach out and also benchmark us. So why all that? I mean, Apex.OS brings smartphone-like SDK-based function development to state-of-the-art software development. So it enables shorter development times. And this, since you have an end-to-end SDK, developers are enabled to develop reliable and complex applications. But while complexity describes the challenges we need to overcome along the way, productivity in development means also delivering the results faster. And there's a good study. This is from the colleagues from McKinsey, which really explains that the software development productivity in the industry is stagnating, while the complexity is increasing and the gap is getting bigger and bigger. And also with the, let's say, traditional methods, it's quite hard to cope with. And so it's unclear how to close this gap for some. Yeah, but in the end, the question is, how can I reduce the complexity and increase the productivity? And by freeing domain experts from dealing with low-level software complexities or hardware dependencies, we really enable them to focus on what truly matters. And this is creating value. Customer-facing functionalities which seamless run on diverse target devices. And which are reusable and which are also transferable and maintainable. So the scalability, reusability, and quality, this is highly depending on also feedback to the developers. So building, maintaining high quality software is not just writing code. It's about ensuring seamless collaboration across teams, across suppliers, across partners, and continuously improving also the reliability. So no worries, I will not bother you with all the details on the slide. What really matters is the acceptance of the users, the integration ability into existing environments and processes, and fast feedback into the evolving teams. So it's not magic what we are doing. We are using state-of-the-art tooling integrated in existing tool infrastructures, and we support or we offer a continuous integration, continuous deployment environment for which is supporting Azure Cloud, Google Cloud, AWS services, and this helps to manage feedback time because feedback time directly correlates with the cost of change. So, and when you don't put attention on scalability, it's quite hard to get proper feedback times. So Apex.Alan is a modern CI/CD pipeline. It's based on state-of-the-art technology. It's based also on open source technology. And Apex.Alan helps to automate testing. It helps to automate integration. It helps to automate deployment. And it ensures that every change, whether from internal teams or external partners, are rigorously validated. So this leads to a more robust and also scalable software system. As mentioned, we have very profound examples from our customers. In the end, it's a combination of our tools and our services we offer as an IP transfer to our customers. And a very big global organization really changed their software development processes and could manage to reduce their feedback times from several months and dependencies on single suppliers for integration to just a couple of hours. And they can do it now on site using a monorepo, using modern build environments, for example, Bazel. And this is really a very interesting part also for us to see how well this develops and how big the leverage is we can also reach here to speed up the development of our customers. But that's not all. Developing continuous integration and deployment is one thing to scale up and to also manage the quality of your suppliers. But at Apex AI, we also empower customers to bring their AI to the apex of performance. Yeah? The key to a better AI is improving training data and also refining learning processes through backpropagation. Yeah? So our verification and validation solution enables deterministic record and replay, and this ensures reproducible conditions for validation and continuous AI improvements. Yeah, so just to give you an example, so you have a real world environment, you have very complex measurement, you gather a lot of data, a lot of, for example, video data or different sensor data, but also data out of your system, out of your robot, your machinery, your tractor. And this collected is stored as data and made ready for deterministic replay. Deterministic, not only time, but also data deterministic. So this helps to define to fill your safety argumentation. So the high fidelity replay in fixed order provides a reproducible execution of the recorded data. And this is not only time, but also data deterministic. So this enhances your AI performance. So when you are building smaller, also bigger foundation models, your training data can be hardened, can be made more robust. And you can really get an insight into your learning because you can focus also on the backpropagation. So it captures the full context. It synchronizes real world conditions for validation. But it can also be enriched with your simulators. There are very profound simulation environments. And if you are using foundation models, for sure, you are already depending not only on real world, but also on simulation data. But this enrichment in combination with the determinism is really what makes it different here. So you can also reduce risk of latency timing variability. So you have to figure out, depending also on your hardware capabilities, where do I calculate, and this can be controlled. And the best is our customers, they can also integrate this seamlessly. We are supporting SIL, HIL, or X in the loop environments. So to connect to your architecture, your test, and also your CI/CD tools. So with this dive into the portfolio, you might have some questions. Please do not hesitate to put them into the Q&A session already. But I would like to also take a look into our real-world applications with some customers. So some customer examples. I'm not able to disclose all at this point. As mentioned, we are a startup, but be ensured there will be some more announcement. So I will explain in detail a bit more about the customers on the next slides. Yeah. So aside robotics and medical, we have, I think a big announcement coming up this year with a global market leader in this field. Mobility as a service for sure is a big customer group. But even more promising is our cooperation in the agriculture industry, and also already announced last year, and also good to see at the CES this year, Brunswick, the marine application with the boating. So how that looks like, what are we doing? So Volkswagen Moja, for example, it's a mobility as a service provider. In the end, they're using our product not to drive autonomous. No. They are using it really to bridge communication. So they are abstracting the vehicle and the AD system using Apex.OS as middleware because the passenger management is the heart of a ride pooling. And we have a lot of safe operations, a lot of interactions also with different controllers, and a very huge amount of back-end communication. That said, also a lot of suppliers are involved here. And just to manage, we are also helping with our solutions. On the other hand, Brunswick, as just mentioned, their goal is it not only to provide this fancy auto docking feature you can see here, I mean, they are the biggest manufacturer of recreational boats globally. And for sure, they have to offer new functionalities for their end customers. So Apex.OS is really used to focus on new functionalities. And yeah, you should take a closer look what they are doing. And for sure, they will add a lot of functionality aside the auto docking in the future. For agricultural customers, very interesting for me as an engineer is also the challenge to distribute calculation capacity, for example, between tractor and implement. Yeah. So the protocols are a lot of legacy is involved, and but they really can bring a huge functional lift to a target audience, the farmers, which are already able to deal with tele-operated, GPS-operated, geo-based systems and automation. So there's more to come, and Krohn and Lemken are global players, such as Acrofend. Yeah, so Acrofend, those were early investors. You see here very early pictures from the R&D phase. And yeah, for sure, production-ready capabilities are very important. And also here you will see that in agriculture, the future is already there. And also the bigger tractors are coming into production. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose more customers, but at the end, I will explain a bit more also about our global footprint and investors landscape. So, but now I would like to sum up a bit. So what is our core expertise? Middleware across different domains. So we really have mobility as a service, trucks, mining, agriculture. We have seen a lot. Medical, very interesting field, marine, and we support not only with the how should I balance the system, compute hardware, but also EE architecture variants. We have the profound experts with really long-term industry background here in the company and can support heavily. So that said, for example, if you are dealing with AI and have to improve the performance, you should definitely reach out. And yeah, off-the-shelf, ready available solutions. So as mentioned, we are licensing our products, Apex.Grace, the SDK framework, and Apex.Ida. So both have best-in-class performance, modular, extensible architecture, and yeah, high performance execution, communication support, mixed safety criticality systems. And the solutions for CI/CD, Apex.Alan, and the verification and validation, Apex.OS for verification and validation is really cutting edge when it comes to safety certification or even just enhancing performance of AI-based systems. So this is not just attractive to customer, as mentioned, also this is very attractive to leading financial and strategic investors. So with that, our headquarter in Palo Alto from 2017, also Germany was very early, but in the meantime, we could extend also to Sweden, Japan, and Korea. And the latest investors announcement is just quite brand new from last month with AG. This also is a good indicator in what markets we are active. That brings us already to the end of today's session. So, but not to the very end. You have now the chance also to put your questions into the respective fields. So thank you all for your time and engagement. So this and also note this webinar is just the beginning. So we will be hosting industry-specific sessions featuring guest speakers from and customers and partners. And we will also provide in the future some deep dive technical webinars for those who are looking more in depth insights. So stay tuned for upcoming topics and yeah, just also subscribe to the Apex AI on LinkedIn. There you will be noted. We also would highly value your feedback. Yeah, so please let us know what we can improve in future sessions. And additionally, if you are interested in exploring this further, I'm also encouraging you to check out our white papers and blog posts. I think there's a lot to be found as well. So then with that said, I'm looking forward to my colleagues Lyle and Laurel, and we are looking forward to your questions. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Thomas. And we have already one question into the chat. So the question is, what's the advantage of the Apex.OS foundation over working directly with ROS? So it's ROS 2, very good, thank you. What we also heard, we are based on ROS, but we are like a deterministic version of ROS. So if you need a safety case to support certification, so you better go with us because ROS 2 is not deterministic. So also what we provide is maintenance and support for the product. So if you have a question with ROS, so you could ask it in the open source, but we are here to support and provide you instantly with support, also with feature development that is customized for your use case, also with communication protocols that are not in the open source. And yeah, and we also support the major POSIX-based SOCs that is not coming directly with ROS, and yeah, can support SOC and different real-time operating system. So then another question came just in. Can Apex.OS also adopt to industry-specific standards? And how is this ensured? So this was also answered a bit already today. So industry-specific standards, there are all safety standards are based all on the norm IEC 61508. This is a basic functional safety norm, and from this norm, all the other norms derive, like the ISO 26262 for the automotive and for medical. There is the norm for the medical devices. It's also derived from the same one. So for medical equipment, like the IEC 60601. So and we provide the safety element out of context certification that is supports your system certification. So this is how it's done industry specific. So do we have other questions? So one question is, what is the impact of the Grace solution on development timelines and associated costs? What feedback have you received from your customers on this? So Thomas, would you like to?
I can jump in. So the impact on development timelines. Yeah, so our customers would equate developing with Apex.OS as being much more close to developing with ROS as this open source technology that makes it really easy and quick to prototype your applications. So we very much kept the same approach to our APIs and the design of the framework so that you can move quick, but still certify your product at the end of the day. So we really thrive in that last 20% of bringing a product into production and ensuring that you are reducing risk as much as possible, which is what all of these standards are trying to get you to do. So I don't have any numbers I can share with you today, but it certainly bridges the gap from prototyping into production, and that's where we focus our value adds.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. So if I may add, for sure, it shortens very much the time, and especially when it comes to real-time critical applications, and especially when it comes also to optimization topics, latencies. So the customers really can do heavy lifting here with our solution. We have examples from our customers where they basically could also just save hardware costs massively because they didn't have to calculate on very expensive SoCs, because using Apex.Ida they could distribute also and find a good tailored architecture to do that. And especially with the zero copy mechanisms, we also have examples where the customer were simply saving energy in their electric battery powered devices. They were driving with it because they saved a lot of energy by not having to copy memory that often. Yeah? So this is not only reducing latencies and speeds this up, it also ensures that you can save energy in the system. So we have profound examples. And in the end, you are invited also to bring in your example to benchmark us. We will find definitely the benefits, how you can speed up. And the biggest benefit is that you do not have to maintain your own middleware, your own glueware, your own interfaces underneath. You can focus on the function. And this is why some customers with bigger development teams can save up to 2-digit middleware maintainers and can bring them into their function teams to do something which is really value for the company.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. So there is another question, and they're popping up a lot of questions now, so we will hurry up a bit to answer all of them. So the question is, how do you work with Android that may be an additional OS in the system? Lyle, could you?
Yeah, so Android is typically used for like the HMI, the human machine interface. So perhaps you want to enable or disable part of your system via a touchscreen. So that's typically how this works. Apex.Ida is going to handle the communication, and whether you're publishing or subscribing data from your Apex.OS system to Android, and handling that translation of the data formats and everything, so that as an application developer, you just worry about developing that interface and knowing that the data will be sent and received, and you don't have to know the specifics of the Android network stack or a lot of the specifics of the Apex.Ida middleware. You simply just send and receive data from your applications.
Okay, then the next question is, we develop on ROS 2 Humble. What is the level of difficulty of moving to Apex?
Sure. So in our 2502 release just last month, we added support for ROS 2 Humble. So we are up to date API-wise with ROS 2 Humble, which is something we always strive to be within 1 or 2 releases of the open source ROS 2 versions. And we do have 100% on the wire compatibility. So ROS 2 and Apex.OS are completely interoperable, and even ROS 1 and Apex.OS are interoperable on the wire. So the effort that you need is really switching some of your APIs to use some of the deterministic and real-time capable Apex.OS APIs. But we're talking a matter of days, sometimes even hours, just depending on the size of your project. If you have a complete robot, with perception, planning, and control that are fairly well fleshed out, and you have it working, maybe a couple of weeks, and you would be transitioned over to Apex.OS libraries, and you would automatically get better performance, higher reliability of the system, etc.
Okay, thanks. And then there is another one. Which native OS does Apex.OS support, or is Apex.OS standalone? So I think the ROS versions we just answered, but the native OS, you mean the real-time operating system, I believe, or I think.
So for development, you can just use your Linux machine. That's what we use in-house for day-to-day development. Then you can do your initial testing on a Linux system with the real-time settings enabled, or immediately begin deploying to the embedded hardware, like an NVIDIA Drive AGX Xavier with the QNX operating system. We have a large table of supported platforms, which is a combination of the hardware and the RTOSes that we test and support on for each release. So, you really can hit the ground running with most go-to solutions these days. If you have something super unique, like a really unique microprocessor or RTOS combination, maybe we have to do some work to enable that, but that's going to be the very rare case. And then, the ROS versions we did cover with ROS 2 Humble being supported today.
So the next question is, can you explain some use cases of Apex solutions in agriculture? How useful is Apex in non-automotive? Perhaps Thomas wants to answer this. He's our agriculture guy.
Yeah, happy to do. Yeah. Some use cases. So there are the regular follower use cases, but especially when it comes also to public roads, it's getting a bit tricky. So, and this is where the safety case is important. Also, the machinery is quite complex sometimes. Very interesting, I think, is what in the Agriculture Electronic Foundation is discussed. Because they are discussing calculation distribution between the tractor itself and the implement, for example. So this means that you have an intelligent implement, but the calculation power, for example, might be in the tractor. So how can this be handled? Then a wide variety or a high variance is also an issue. So you have different manufacturers, you have different systems. You are very dependent on perception, but the perception is also in a very harsh environment. So there are a lot of challenges, but the use cases in the end are basically to automate processes, to make it for the end customer also an economical use case, to save labor, to save additional stuff. This is exactly what they are doing. And so it's very useful in non-automotive. I think the biggest use is also for the manufacturers, because they are hardware independent in the end, or they get a bit more hardware independent because they can prevent a vendor lock-in. And especially in agriculture, you have very long product life cycles. And this is where we also can make a difference and ensure that the systems can also be maintained over longer time. Not only due to the flexibility with the underlying RTOS and SoC, but also with the flexibility or the approach that you have source available software where you can also tweak the code years later.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. So if there is a demo available as asked, so please reach out via products at Apex.AI. We will do a demo for you. Then the next question is, ROS2 has a disadvantage of heavy use of tools like Colcon or Amend that may be difficult to customize for a build system. Is Apex.OS build system more customizable or modular than ROS2?
Short answer is yes. Internally, we use the Bazel build system. You're not forced to use this as a customer, wanting to develop your own applications using Apex.OS. So you can, shorter answer is you can use whatever build system that you would like. We do support CMake, Colcon, and Bazel out of the box. We've looked into things like adding Conan support for package management. All of these things are possible to build on top of what we provide to our customers today.
Okay, thank you. So the next question from Michael. Does Apex.Ida and Apex.Grace provide safety certification coverage for RTOS, or is it still required to run an RTOS like QNX for safety or integrity that provides a safety certified RTOS? So we are based on top of an RTOS, so without a safety certificated RTOS, also certification of the overall system is not possible. So Lyle, do you want to add something?
Sure, yeah, we adhere to the safety manual of the RTOS when we're basically integrating our technology on top of it. But that doesn't completely prevent or you're still required as the end customer, whoever's building the final product, to adhere to some of the other RTOS or operating system safety manual directives, let's say. So, we're not completely checking off that box for you. There's still work you have to do to ensure your system is safe and free of unreasonable risk. But we 100% put you on the fast track Autobahn to achieve that system homologation. Thomas?
Yeah, that's absolutely the thing. But what is maybe also relevant in this context, you have the same code base in Apex.Ida, for example, regardless if you have a safety certified system or not. Yeah, so this is a bit difference also, and maybe helpful for many customers to consider that out of the same code base you can reach a safety certification regardless if you have a safety case or not. Yeah, so if you really follow the rules we are applying, then this is even possible. And this also is a big cost saver. And this is also making life a bit easier when it comes towards certification, because you can have one function developed for both cases. And this is also helping to scale and to speed up, just to add that.
So the last question for today is, how long does it take for a company to adopt Apex.OS?
I tried to write this out, but I wasn't fast enough, so I can verbalize it. So it really could be weeks for small teams with, you know, a moderately sized robotics project, or even a week. You know, I've seen it done. But to move, you know, like an entire prototype that's functionally complete, you know, it could be up to 6 months, perhaps. But in this porting process, you're typically also reevaluating what architecture you have. Is it suitable for safety? So you're starting to think about functional safety, or, you know, safety at some capacity at this point of transition. So it's really, really difficult to answer in a general sense. But yeah, moving 10,000 lines of code, you know, we're talking hours or weeks. Moving 1 million, you know, that's where you need larger teams, and perhaps, yeah, like I said, up to 6 months or so is what we've seen.
All right, thank you very much. So this really brings us now to the very end of today's session. So thanks again all for your time and your engagement. So as mentioned, your feedback is highly valued. So please let us know. And please also contact us in case you would like to give it a try. And don't hesitate also to access our white paper and blog library. So if you like to evaluate our solutions, we are instantly ready. And finally, a big thanks to my colleagues Lore and Lyle for supporting the Q&A session today. And with that, I look forward to continuing the conversation. Have a great day. Goodbye.